Become a patron at www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos, and articles on the Golden Era of bodybuilding. Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. Today I'd like to continue talking about the Bronze Era diets with a focus on Eugene Sandow's diet and his favorite protein supplement. As you will learn today, Eugene Sandow did not believe in a restricted diet, but in order to keep in top condition, he would enrich his food with protein supplements. As shown here, here is one of Eugene Sandow's most famous photos, and Eugene Sandow looks definitely defined and very muscular during the Bronze Era here. And today we're going to see that it was also his diet, besides the light dumbbell system, it was his diet that helped him keep such fantastic physical condition. It's amazing that the practice of supplementation of a normal diet even existed well over 100 years ago. Eugene Sandow wrote several books and publications, and it is from these books which I have gathered today's information. So without further ado, here is Eugene Sandow's diet. Enjoy. Eugene Sandow describes his diet in chapter 18 of his book Sandow's System of Physical Training, written in 1894. In a section called How I Pass the Day, he writes the following, quote, "I am no believer in a special diet, still less in a rigid one, as necessary while training. The old nonsense on this subject about raw eggs and underdone meat seems to be passing away, and more rational views now prevail." Now, when I read this, of course, I have to admit I was quite surprised that he did not encourage the consumption of undercooked meat, and especially raw eggs, seeing that Sandow himself was a strongman. Nevertheless, this is what he practiced and what he wrote, so I'm just reading it out. Further, he writes, quote, "I eat whatever I have a taste for, without stinting myself unduly, nor do I restrict myself in what I drink. I abjure anything intoxicating," and by that he means spirits as in alcohol, "confining myself to beer and light wines. Tea and coffee I never suffer myself to touch." Wow, I mean, now this I found rather interesting, that in a book on physical culture he would state that he would drink beer and enjoy it, as well as wine, and that he would never drink coffee or tea, although I know that plenty of strongmen definitely drank beer during the Bronze Era. For example, the Saxon brothers were famous for drinking, gallons of beer a day, so that's not surprising. But to not drink tea and coffee, that's rather an interesting stance. Now, I was further alarmed by the fact that he enjoyed smoking the occasional cigar or pipe. That's what he actually writes in some of his books, and even in the Sandow's System of Physical Training. However, what I gathered from his writings in this particular book was that he ate whatever he wanted. He drank beer and wine, no spirits, and he actually practiced at the time eating 3 meals a day: breakfast, dinner, and supper. Interestingly, he was quite adamant on chewing properly, constantly stating and stressing that the mastication of food was important to ensure proper assimilation of nutrients. Now, upon reading a later publication of Eugene Sandow titled The Gospel of Strength, I found that Sandow had altered his form of eating from his earlier strongman days. He still was not a fattist, and that is a person that follows, fad diets, etc., and instead felt that nature was the best guide and encouraged people to listen to their natural inclinations. Interestingly, at this point in time, he preferred to eat 6 small meals a day rather than 2 heavy meals, and he still advocated proper chewing of food and occasionally smoked. Now, what I found most interesting about reading The Gospel of Strength was that Sandow goes into great detail on his protein sources for his diet. Firstly, he lists the foods that he believed particularly helped strengthen the bodybuilder, and these were foods rich in albumin, such as milk, cheese, and eggs. However, he recommended not overindulging in these foods, but definitely recommended eating plenty of them. Further, he recommended one of the first ever supplements, one of the first ever milk supplements, milk-derived supplements, and that is plasmin. Eugene Sandow was probably the first bodybuilder in history to use and recommend supplements to further enrich his diet and physique. He recommended plasmin. He claims that the supplement food, plasmin, was so potent that he could even live on it for 7 weeks. Apparently he mixed it in a liquid and would just sip this all day long. It's pretty incredible. Now, what is plasmin? Plasmin is actually an albumin extract from buttermilk developed by German scientists, and it was so potent apparently that it was used worldwide even prior to operations. Even doctors gave it to their patients prior to operations. It was apparently a very, very good supplement. And if, Eugene Sandow recommended it, it must have been very good. Although he did experiment with this supplement, Eugene Sandow regularly used it to increase the nutritional value of his meals. And in fact, he stated that to prevent overeating and accumulation of fat, he would add plasmin to help keep his physical condition. And this is very clear when we see all the photos that we have seen today and that we can see on the internet, etc., of Eugene Sandow. He always possessed a very well-defined and muscular physique. Now, if you'd like to learn more about Eugene Sandow's nutritional principles as well as his forms of weight training, I highly recommend that you visit my website, where you can find several of his books, such as The Gospel of Strength, of which he talks quite a lot about plasmin and his diet, especially his high protein diet. He also has some other great books that he wrote: Strength and How to Obtain It, Sandow's System of Physical Training, all available on my website, www.goldenerabookworm.com. So as we have seen today, Eugene Sandow was not a fanatic when it came to his diet, preferring to eat an array of whole, natural, highly nutritious food, eating at times three times a day and later 6 small meals a day. However, he did recommend high protein foods such as milk, eggs, and cheese, and recommended the first milk protein supplement called plasmin. And further, he enriched his diet with plasmin to increase the protein macros, I guess, in his particular diet. One could almost state that he was the first man or the first bodybuilder to recommend an enriched or high protein diet. He was so ahead of his time in that regard. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video today. If you have, please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't to the Golden Era Bookworm. Leave me your comments and thank you for watching. If you'd like to support my research and my work, please donate via PayPal, become a patron. You can visit my website, www.goldenerabookworm.com, for out-of-print courses and books on old school bodybuilding. And of course, you can contact me if you wish to pass on your old magazines and books, so I can increase my collection and bring you more information from old school bodybuilding. Anyway, once again, hope you've enjoyed watching this video. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Bye for now. And for an entertaining look at the history of bodybuilding's supplement industry, I would highly recommend watching Subs the Movie, which I have collaborated in, available at Amazon Prime and Vimeo.
Hi everybody, I just want to recommend this phenomenal book, Vince's Secret Locker, volume number 2 by Carl Coyne. I've been looking at this for about 4 weeks and I can't put it down. If you get a chance, check it out. He also has a part 1 that I highly recommend also. Vince was the trainer to the stars and had an amazing, interesting gym that today there's still not equipment like it around. It was all made out of wood. He'll be on our radio show coming up probably in the next couple weeks or so. Have a great day, and again, highly recommend this book.